Good evening. I'm a nameless reporter, and you're watching 60 Minutes. Tonight, I have resurrected author, suffragist, social activist, abolitionist, and a leading figure in the early women's rights movement, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, from the grave, in order to get an intimate look into her life and her fight for equality. Welcome, Mrs. Cady Stanton.
Thank you so much for having me. It's very nice to be here.
So what motivated you into taking such a strong stance for women's rights? Surely many women wanted gender equality, but you were one of the few who were extremely proactive. How come?
Honestly, it was because of my father.
Daniel Cady was an extremely high-profile lawyer. He worked with many respected figures such as Alexander Hamilton, Aaron Burr, and Abraham Lincoln. While his daughter wanted to improve the world for women, Cady was not equally motivated.
My father wished for sons. All my brothers died at a young age, and my father often wished that I was a man. His disappointment motivated me to study and try to become the equal of any man. He also advised abused women to stay in their relationships because of legal barriers and lack of economic control after a divorce. I found this absolutely disgusting and inhumane and wanted change.
Speaking of prominent men in your life, I heard that you and your husband had a rather unconventional honeymoon.
Yes! My husband and I decided to attend the world's anti-slavery convention in London as our honeymoon. Henry, my husband, worked for the American Anti-Slavery Society, and we both felt strongly about the peculiar institution. What many don't realize is that along with being a women's rights advocate, I was also an active abolitionist.
What happened at the convention?
At the time, it was very risque for women to be involved in politics in any capacity. At the convention, female delegates were denied official standing and banned from speaking about the issues. As a fervent abolitionist, this infuriated me, along with my dear friend, Lucretia Mott.
Cady Stanton and Mott met at the World's Anti-Slavery Convention in 1840. They became partners in campaigning for women's rights and lifelong friends. Tell me more about your relationship with Lucretia Mott.
Lucretia and I have always been the best of friends. She was feisty and determined and lived and breathed our cause. She was the one who I planned the Seneca Falls Convention with.
The Seneca Falls Convention was the first women's rights convention in the world. Some significantly revolutionary things must have happened there.
Well, the purpose of the convention was for people to come together in one place to have an in-depth and healthy discourse about the social, civil, and religious condition and rights of women. The convention was 2 days long. The first was exclusively for women, and that is when I read the Declaration of Sentiments in hopes that we would be able to rouse women to petition for their rights.
What exactly was the Declaration of Sentiments?
It was a list of statements on women's rights that were agreed upon by the convention attendees. My favorite line is, resolved, that women is man's equal, was intended to be so by the Creator, and the highest good of the race demands that she be recognized as such. It sums up the core of my mission as a feminist.
So what happened during the rest of the convention?
The second day, we invited men to join the discussion. The women's rights movement would not have been successful without the participation of feminist men. And, fortunately, many came, including Frederick Douglass. That day, we adopted the Declaration along with many other resolutions that called for the specific equal rights for women. It was an incredible milestone for our movement.
How exactly were you hoping to change the ways in which women were viewed in society?
Through legislation. In 1869, I started the National Women's Suffrage Association with the goal of giving women constitutional rights. I knew that the only way women could begin to be viewed as equal to men in society was if they were seen as equal to men under the eyes of the law.
And those rights were finally added to the U.S. Constitution. In 1920, after years of hard work and struggle, the 19th Amendment was adopted, finally giving women the right to vote. This was a major turning point in how women were viewed in society and increased the spread of American democracy. It was also one of Cady Stanton's most important issues. Unfortunately, Cady Stanton did not live to see one of her dreams come true. She died 18 years earlier.
While I never got to see the impact of my advocacy, I hope that women today are appreciative of their privileges and don't let something as trivial as their anatomy hold them back. And I hope they don't let anyone keep them from pursuing their dreams.